All right, we're live. We can start.
Okay, आपको. A very good evening, one and all. Today is one of the most special days of National Innovation Dialogue with Collab 2021-22. And let me tell you what actually National Innovation Dialogue is. National Innovation Dialogue is a month-long event hosted by United Nations Development Programme and Atal Innovation Mission, Niti Aayog. National Innovation Dialogue brings together stakeholders to establish a common agenda through capacity development, strengthening the coalition, and creating an enabling ecosystem in a national context. This year, the theme for National Innovation Dialogue is Climate Action and Innovation. The month long dialogue will address students, entrepreneurs, and aspiring entrepreneurs through a series of workshops, panel discussions, roundtables, artist performances, and job fair. Today, we have come to the final day of our events, and we have two events. The first event will be Climate Action Through Art, that is a curated open mic. And the second event is a finale, a high level discussion by a lot of experts. Now, when it comes to the first open mic, I would like to call our first act, that is by Manan Arora. Manan is a comic from Jaipur who started doing comedy in 2017 after he moved to Bangalore and saw the regional differences and observed through enough to make a set out of it. And in 5 years of his journey, he has managed to do about 250 plus shows and open mics altogether. Professionally, he's managing partnerships for Bangalore-based startup called NetX Global. Ladies and gentlemen, Manan Arora. Manan, the stage is all yours.
Manan, you are on mute.
Yeah.
Hi guys, so sorry. So yeah, hi. Thanks for inviting me. First of all, like it's a pleasure, like being here and like doing this. And first of all, I would like to introduce myself. And starting off with, yeah, my name is Manan. And मेरी किस्मत बहुत खराब है. I mean, मेरी किस्मत इतनी खराब है कि तुम लोगों को वो गूगल पे स्क्रैच कार्ड आता है ना, एक बार मुझे भी आया था. So I scratched it and it said, woohoo, congratulations, you have won 0 rupees. Tell your friends about it. What do I tell? मेरे अकाउंट में आर्यभट्ट है. I mean, बहुत खराब है, बहुत खराब किस्मत है. I mean, मेरी किस्मत इतनी खराब है that once I tweeted something for my crush so that she would talk to me. She retweeted it for her crush. So it's sad. But then the reason that we are here, right? So first of all, I'm a person who's based out of Jaipur, Rajasthan, and I traveled to Bangalore to do my graduation, and now I'm working there. So basically, I didn't know how things were because I grew up here for 17 years of my life. And as Kasturi mentioned, the regional differences, what got the stand-up in me to observe and, to exaggerate to an extent where I can do jokes about it. So first of all, when I was going to Bangalore, when I got selected for my college in Bangalore, my parents were shocked because North Indian parents can't just digest their kids going to South India. उनको लगता है कि वहाँ लोग सांबर में डुबा के खा जाते हैं लोगों को. I don't know what. So when I told my mom that I got into Christ, she was like, "बेटा Christ का है." I was like, Bangalore में. My mom was like, "बेटा वो तो श्रीलंका के बहुत पास हो जाएगा, नहीं इतना दूर नहीं." But then I mean, it was tough because when I reached there, I actually got to know the differences. First was, as soon as I landed to the airport, I booked a cab. And for those of you who have been to Bangalore, they know that Bangalore airport is quite far from the main city of Bangalore. So basically, my cab fare was more than my flight fare. So that is one thing. But then while I was in the cab, right? So this cab guy started talking to me. I was like, "Bhaiya, आप कहाँ से हो? कौन से गांव से हो?" I was like, "मैं जयपुर राजस्थान से हूँ." He's like, "भैया वहाँ तो पानी नहीं मिलता ना?" मैंने कहा, "नहीं नहीं, माजा पी के बड़ा हुआ." I mean, I don't know why people think कि राजस्थान के पास पानी नहीं है. नहाते हो नहीं नहीं ऐसी चीजों में पानी वेस्ट नहीं करते, धोते हो नहीं नहीं मिट्टी लगाते हैं. And they're like, तुम्हारे वहाँ बिल्डिंगों में आग लगती है? नहीं नहीं, हम लोग सती कर देते हैं बट पानी वेस्ट नहीं. Something like that. That's how my experience of Bangalore started. And I mean, the funny part about this is that 5 years back, it started off as a joke. Now it seems to be a reality. Honestly, we don't have water. I don't think anyone has enough water. So yeah, that's one thing. But like, the sad part is people talking about climate change and global warming. So I gathered up a few quotes, not quotes, something that real people have spoken about the climate change and global warming, which starts with a lot of people talking about climate change is a hoax, right? Climate change is a hoax. So for those people, I mean, I think they are the same people who think that COVID is a conspiracy, right? And I think people who say climate change is a hoax, they're like Novak Djokovic to COVID. I mean, like, vaccine nahi lagwaunga, all that attitude. But then, yeah, I mean, that's one thing about it. Sports joke that I did. But then there are more things that people have quoted, and real people, as I mentioned, people have been like, climate change is impossible because God is up there. Because God is up there, climate change is impossible. And this was said in 2012 by a senator in the US. I'm not making this up. It's a true story. So I mean, this guy who said that, climate change is impossible because God is up there, he's like that one Indian doctor who's there in every Indian daily soap who says, ab inko dawa nahi duaएं बचा सकती है. I mean, how how relevant is that? Not at all. I mean, even Obama, when he listened to this guy, he was like, bhai kya kar raha hai tu? I mean, how can you say all of that? But then, yeah, it's true. And there's this one guy who said, if you exhaust one resource, just switch to another that works as well. That was a statement. And I mean, this guy is just levitating on some other level. This guy is trying to say, अगर घर में घर में पानी नहीं है तो क्या आग पियो, हवा पियो, alternative ढूंढ लो पानी का, हमें क्या, पर है. So I mean, these are the kind of things that people come up with. And there's this one person who says, if environmental problems get desperate, so what? It will happen after I die, so I can't take them seriously today. That is like saying, यार अगर मैं 2019 में मर जाता तो कोविड तो नहीं देखना पड़ता ना, but है ना जिंदा. So I mean, yeah, those are like, that's about the jokes part of it. But like, it's sad being a community of people who believe in not looking at eclipses even by mistake because we might go blind, but then at the same time not believing in climate change. And it's sad to see. I mean, we don't give it enough importance is what I feel, and I see it. I mean, even in my house, when we are using a tissue or a paper napkin, we don't think about it twice. We just use like the other one, even if we don't need it. And I think if the change has to come, it has to come starting from us and our own like parents and our house. So I think that's about it. And that's been my time. Thank you so much for having me. It was like lovely being here and sharing this. Thank you. Thank you, Kasturi.
Wow, Manan, thank you so much. Wow, that was actually brilliant. That was a very different way. I mean, this is for the first time I'm listening to somebody talk about climate action at the same time have a joke about it. So that was brilliant. A big round of applause to Manan, Arora. And here we come to the second act. And let me give you a small glimpse of it. Kahaani ki Dukaan. Kahaani ki Dukaan is a rural community library and a performance arts space dedicated to encouraging fictional reading among children through storytelling, theater, podcast, and visual arts to help develop creative abilities and critical thinking. They are presently running 4 rural libraries, 2 in Himachal Pradesh, one each in Punjab and Madhya Pradesh. Now, as we speak about them, we have the two founders of Kahaani Ki Dukaan. One is Anoop, and the other person is Jasmine. Anoop is a storyteller and performer of Kahaani Ki Dukaan, and Jasmine Kocha is the storyteller and visual artist of Kahaani Ki Dukaan. And ladies and gentlemen, let me not keep you guys waiting. Be ready for the surprise, and this is Kahaani Ki Dukaan.
Hi everyone.
No, that's the best intro we have had in a while. So I think we'll take a couple of seconds to let that sink in. Also, I think Manan made us laugh a lot. So Manan, I think great job. And Jasmine and I think as Kasturi mentioned, that we have been running this space for 3 years now. It's not just a space; we are a foundation now, and we have been running a series of libraries, which I think you guys mentioned. So I think I would pass it to Jasmine to introduce a little bit about what we do and what we are going to do today as well. And thank you for this opportunity.
So, hello everyone, and thank you for having us. We are very glad to be here, and I just want to tell a little bit about Kahaani Ki Dukaan. Kasturi has already mentioned we are actually a rural expression art space. We are a rural library, and like we started out because we realized that in rural areas, you don't have much of like any way children don't have space to express themselves or learn creative abilities or and learn creative activities. So we started out this space so children could have their own safe home where a space they could call their own. And we set up rural libraries across villages in India, because libraries, there are no libraries in villages and schools in villages, and government schools don't really have libraries. So the concept of fictional storytelling and story writing is very alien to them. uh,
So, so today I think the subject is environment and climate change, which we actually are observing sitting here because the forest behind us catches a lot of summer fires, and it's getting bigger each year. So it's something which impacts all of us. And I'm sure a lot of you are in the cities right now where temperatures are going mad. I don't know, it's 500 degrees or whatever it is. So we probably, I think as performance artists, it's really important for us to, not just lecture, because, sometimes lecturing is very boring and people tend to tune out. So what we do, also what we do in the village, is we write songs about it, and we perform these songs at various courtyards. We invite travelers, and we, write songs about use of plastic, for instance. In fact, we have written one song about plastic, which we are not doing today. Maybe if we find time, about plastic bottle. What really happens to a plastic bottle which we buy from the city and then bring it to a waterfall and leave it here? What really happens to that plastic bottle? Or what's the impact of planting a tree, for instance? So last year we did something interesting. I would say interesting, because we on Rakhi. Rakhi is this Indian festival where you tie a thread on somebody's wrist who is going to protect you. And we thought, whom should we tie our thread on? Then we saw a tree because we were in Lahore distributing storybooks and singing songs for children of Spiti and Lahore. So we saw a lot of trees there, and we realized maybe we should tie threads to trees and then sing songs in praises of trees, because trees are the ones which are going to protect us and the environment. And that's how this song came about. A lot of children from that village contributed to this song. So whatever lyrics we write in each song and we perform, it's not about professionalism. It's not about being the best singer. It's not about being the best writer. It's about crowdsourcing these lyrics and all of us singing it together in whatever scales we can. And that's what Kahaani Dukaan is. So what we are going to do today, I'm going to request all of you to be on camera because photographs are boring. Can we all come on camera once? And I know it's difficult to be on camera if you are socially anxious because energy passes when you look into each other's eyes, and we should know how many of you are getting bored while we are singing or telling stories.
I think I'll just, before we start, I'll just add a little bit about why we wrote this song. I think we don't realize how much footprint we are leaving, and even while we are traveling, the consciousness is not there because our purpose of traveling is to see the scenic beauty or adventure or whatever. So and like it's very important for children in hills also, because we've been living in the mountains for 3 years. Even children in the hills with slowly plastic taking over, plastic water bottles and chips packets and everything taking over. We wanted children to feel one with the place and protect it like their own house, like how they would keep their own house clean. So we wanted them to keep their environment and their surroundings clean.
So today we all have a task. While we finish the song, we are going to read a letter each. It can be a letter to anyone. Could be to a tree, to a bird, to a water bottle, to the sky, to Prime Minister, to Greta Thunberg, or whomsoever you want to write one letter to. And it can be on the spot. You can just say something straight from your heart to someone or somebody you actually wanted to tell a message or pass a message about environment. Right after the song ends, Jasmine is going to start with one letter. And then I'm going to tell you a story which is part of a letter as well. And after me, it's open and everybody's supposed to contribute. Otherwise, uh, if you do, you remember those forwards where if you don't forward it to 12 people, bad luck comes to you. It's that. Yeah.
Also, if you find the song catchy, sing along.
And we'll tell you the chorus. Chorus is it's in Hindi, by the way. We'll tell you the meaning because it's written by rural children, so we could not tell them that please write in English. Um, this is the chorus goes, which everybody is supposed to sing along, maybe with mics off because otherwise it will be echo. It goes.
अर्थ से अनर्थ ना करो.
अर्थ से अनर्थ ना करो, ये समय व्यर्थ ना करो. Like, don't unearth the earth. That's what the first line means. Earth se anarth na karo. Don't unearth the earth. Don't waste the time, which is ye samay vyarth na karo. Okay. Whenever we come, we reach to that point. Before that, over to Jasmine.
पर्यावरण की हम सब करें सुरक्षा. पर्यावरण की हम सब करें सुरक्षा. पहाड़ और गगन की हम सब करें सुरक्षा. पहाड़ और गगन की जिधर जाए हम किधर भी हो हम मिल के करें सुरक्षा. जिधर जाए हम किधर भी हो हम मिल के करें सुरक्षा. साथ हम चले हाथ जो जुड़े मिल के करें सुरक्षा. साथ हम चले हाथ जो जुड़े मिल के करें सुरक्षा.
sucha. Now everybody together, okay? Arth se anarth na karo, ye samay vyarth na karo. Arth se anarth na karo, ye samay. Keep singing this. Arth se anarth na karo, ye samay. Time is precious. Every day matters. So every time you're driving a diesel car, please keep singing this line. Every time you see polar bears dying on the street, please keep singing this line. Every time you don't find enough snow in the mountains, please keep singing this line. Every time you switch on your air conditioner, please keep singing this line. What's the line we are supposed to sing? Arth se anarth na karo, ye samay vyarth na karo. Once more. Arth se anarth na karo, ye samay vyarth na karo. Arth se anarth na karo, ye samay vyarth na karo. Arth se anarth na karo, ye samay vyarth na karo. So this is a message from all the children who live in the mountains to each one of you. They're seeing a lot of wildfires here. Temperatures are changing every day. Can we do something about it rather than just talk about it? Can we? So here, we have some letters now. We'll start off with Jasmine's letter. And then I think in the meantime, everybody can take a couple of minutes. Just think of letters which you want to write to somebody. Can be to an inordinate thing, or can be to somebody. Can be to somebody whom you know, who can take all these big calls, or can be to someone insignificant like a bird. Maybe tell a bird that it's okay. Breathing is not that important. Cool. Let's go for it.
बचपन में जब हम सपने सजाया करते थे, तब पहाड़ों से उभरता सूरज और नदी किनारे घर बसाया करते थे। काफी सादी सरल सी आकांक्षा थी हमारी। कभी किसी ने भी लंबी ऊंची इमारतों की तस्वीर नहीं थी उतारी। विज्ञान लाभ है या हानि, ये बात करते हम केवल किताबों में, और परिणाम यही निकलता कि लाभ है या हानि, ये सब तो है मनुष्य के ही हाथों में। बचपन में जब हम सपने सजाया करते थे, तब पहाड़ों से उभरता सूरज और नदी किनारे घर बसाया करते थे। पर धीरे धीरे जैसे ही मनुष्य की लालसा बढ़ती गई, पहाड़ टूटने लगे और नदियां सूखती गई। अपने घर बसाने के लिए हमने कई घर उजाड़ दिए। एक बार भी नहीं सोचा उसके बारे में। हाथों की लकीरों में खून बहने लगा था, पर हम बस पानी से उसे धो देते। पर जवाबदेही कौन है? जवाबदेही हम है जिन्होंने कोई हल नहीं सोचा। जवाबदेही है वो जिन्होंने बिगाड़ा हमारा कल। जवाबदेही है हम ना सोच पाए कोई हल। जहां आंगन में और खुले मैदान में खेलना था, वहीं आज मास्क पहनकर घुट के रह गया बचपन। तो जवाबदेही कौन?
Hi, I'm curious. I'm curious about things. I'm curious about things around me, like all of you. That's why my parents named me Curious. I live in this small Himachali village, and my age is roughly 8 years. And I've never been to school, by the way. So I have a better life than most of us. I wake up in the morning, I go to the jungle near my house, and I spend entire day herding my cattle. And while they are doing their business, 300 of them, I look at things around me. I look at leaves, I look at birds, I look at trees. Over the years, I have started to name these trees in my own language, name these birds as my friends, and name these flowers in our local language. I don't need a Google lens like most of us to tell you what is what, because I have my own name for these birds and plants and things. I can tell you which plants are medicinal plants because I've been using them for a while. I can tell you which bird has what kind of call, and I talk to them often. So once I was late in the morning. Oops, it's going to die very soon. Sorry, my internet is dying. But anyway, sorry. I'll try to finish this. Uh, if you give us 1 second, I'll just put the charger because light is back. Sorry about this. It was 4 a.m. in the morning. Can you see me? Yeah. 4 a.m. in the morning. I was a little late for my school. Hey, didn't I tell you I've never been to a school? My school is the forest. I go there every morning by 6. I attend my classes under a tree. I learn from the nature. But I was a little late that day. And as I was crossing my path, I saw a lot of children with their school bags going to an actual school, the real one, where you are supposed to pay fees and listen to programmed learning. And they all seemed very dull and yawning in most cases. And there was this yellow bus that arrived, and all of them queued up and they got onto the bus. And I had this FOMO feeling. I'm like, am I missing out on something? do I deserve to go to a school as well? Maybe they're learning something which I'm not. I think tomorrow morning I'm going to wake up and stand in the same queue as they did. So next morning I got up later than usual because their school starts a little later than mine because my teachers come a little early, like birds and everybody else in the nature. They wake up by 4:30. Their school started around 7:38. So I had this luxury of waking up a little late that day, and I stood in a queue right behind each one of them. And as I climbed the bus, the conductor stopped me. He said, "You don't study here." I was like, "But I need to go to the school and attend like all of them." He said, "No, you have to first take an admission." I said, "Wait, when other people come to my school, I don't ask for any kind of admission. You can just walk in whenever you choose to. Most people come on Sundays and attend my school, but then I don't have issues about it." He said, "No, but you have to take admission." I was like, "What do I have to do to take admissions?" He's like, "You have to fill this form and prepare a case and go and meet the principal." I got really disappointed that day. They didn't let me take that bus. So I was sitting in my school that day and I thought, like, what should I prepare that's going to impress the teacher or the principal? So I took out my diary. I started drawing each leaf that I saw and wrote whatever I knew about that particular leaf and trees. Then I chased a couple of butterflies and wrote about this entire journey of a butterfly from larva to butterfly. And then I wrote about birds and the calls. And then I filled that entire book in a day. And I called that book my first book. And next day, when students got up and they stood in that queue, I had a book in my hand. And all of them took the bus. I took the bus too. And I said, "Wait, I have filled my form. Can I go and meet the principal?" So they allowed me. And I reached the school. I met the principal. I told them that I cannot speak your language, but this is the only language I know. And I passed on my first book to the principal. He looked at the book. He allowed me to study in the school. And I was excited because I belong to this Gaddi tribe who have never been to school. Nobody in my community had ever been to school. We all were graduated from the forest high school. And it was a very proud moment for our community. So I still remember the first day of my real school. They all came to drop me off, and each one of them gifted me a different flower which I'd put in my hair. I had longish hair. I told you I grew up in a jungle. And they told me, maybe you should chop your hair. I said, okay, maybe first you should read my book and then I'll chop it. And once I reached the school, principal gave me a brilliant news that they are publishing this book of mine. And suddenly, all the children in my class were my friends because I was very popular. They came to me to ask about all kinds of flowers and plants, and I gave them all the answers they needed to do. They were as curious as me, and they all were excited and they had smiles on their face. So I asked principal one thing: why don't all of you come to my school now, and I'll give you a little lecture, and maybe we should launch my book in my school and not your school. And principal took that idea really well, and he came down to my school with all his students. And I had prepared a cover note for all of them. We all sat down under a tree. And this is what I wrote. I'm going to read out to all of you. Living in a rainforest, you have to make friends with rains. Living in a jungle, you have to be in awe of the nature. But you do not have to be good. You do not have to walk on your knees through the forest repenting for what you don't have. You only have to let the soft animal of your body love what it loves and admire and learn from what you have. Tell the jungle about your despair, yours, and it will tell you his or hers. And meanwhile, the world goes on. Meanwhile, the sun and the clear pebbles of the rain are moving across the landscape. Meanwhile, the streams and the trees that form canopies over those streams, the mountains and the rivers, they are calling out for each one of you. Meanwhile, the wild geese in the clear blue sky are heading home again, screaming. Whoever you are, no matter how lonely, the world, the jungle offers itself to your imagination. The world calls out to you like the wild geese, harsh and exciting, over and over, announcing your place in the family of things. And when I read this letter, uh, can you hear me? Is it good? Okay. Uh, and when I read this cover letter to all my classmates, they all hugged a tree each. They decided they're going to attend one lecture every day in my school with me as a teacher. Life continued. One morning when we got up and reached my school, which has become our school now, there was no school. There was this big JCB machine taking off each of our benches one at a time. But don't worry, we have a road now. We have travelers and we have development. We don't have birds, we don't have animals, we don't have water streams, we don't have clouds. But we have travelers and we have development and we have money with which we have bought air conditioners and oxygen cylinders. And now I go to the other school where my peers study, because that's the only school we are left with. And it's morning time again. I stand in queue just like every other child. I don't have a smile on my face. I'm excited. I'm not an author. I'm just going to study like other children. Thank you for taking my school away. That's my letter. Who wants to write next? Over to you. Please read out whatever comes to your mind. One line, one letter. Remember the good days, remember your garden days, forest days, whatever you want to read.
I think I can go next. Dear polar bear. Shall I begin? Dear polar bear, we're sorry. We're so caught up with our own whims and fancies that we don't think about you at all. We find our materialistic problems so big that we are the culprits of your extinction. We humans keep drawing you on our papers to tell others to save climate for you, but look at our hypocrisy. We ourselves are killing you. Yeah, that's about it.
Who next? Manan, you want to say something?
Definitely. I think I was thinking about it and I had a lot of people, but not the right message. But I think I found something. And this is for people who are just unlucky and they are not that well to do in life. And I just want to say that I'm sorry if I've ever taken something that was yours when it comes to things that should be distributed equally. And I'm really sorry, but I can assure that I'm going to work hard and like make sure you get what you deserve as much as I can. I think that's all.
Anyone else? Please feel free, because I think it's like a chain. It's important to put out your thoughts, whether it's one line, one word. Any language can be in any language, because sometimes language
Maybe I
is
can go.
an sure.
Am I audible to everyone? So, hello everyone, I'm Samya. So, my letter is for my grandmother, who's not with us today, but I want to dedicate this letter to her. Why? Because she used to tell me always about her house, about her village, about the greenery, about the cattle they had, about the pond which she has in front of her house, where she used to go and pick those water chestnuts, about the sugar and jaggery which was made at their home only, about the house which was cool, which kept everyone cool without the use of air conditioner, about the well which she used to visit, about her school. So I want to tell her that maybe I am not able to see what you have seen. And I'm sorry if I'm not able to keep this, to maintain this. But yeah, I know I'm going to work for that. Times are changing, things are changing, people are changing. We have people with us who started this change. And I know for sure I am going to work for that. Maybe someday I would achieve, I would get a point maybe where I can reach that pond and see and go pick those water chestnuts. Or maybe I can go to that farm and see those cattle. Thank you. That was all from my side.
Sweet. Also, I think it's a request. I mean, at Kahaani Ki Dukaan, we try to express our angst or our disappointments in ourselves and everyone. It's not just in others, in ourselves as well, through a lot of performance art. Uh, and if any of you, there are startups which are working on climate change or on environment, if they're, because we were not part of the discussions, we just came to perform, so we don't know what all conversations happen. But if you believe that we can be in some way be helpful as performance artists in bringing that change at whatever individual level you guys are creating, then probably feel free to reach out to us. I think Niharika and Fazil, they are going to share our email IDs with everyone. If you feel that we can, because sometimes passing on the message is very crucial, and in words which are more relatable through stories and songs, and that's what we try to do.
Yeah, I think it is about time that we take the change in our own hands and we leave something better for the generations to come. And like, we work with children here at Kahaani Ki Dukaan, and it pains us to see the world that we have created and the world that we have given to them. Like, the fact that they are seeing so many animals in just notebooks, in just books, and they are not able to even understand if they'll ever see them live or alive ever again or in reality. Like, that is so sad, that we are leaving a world where we're just every day talking about what species of animals and birds and is going extinct. Like, so we would love to be part of a conversation, and we would love to be part of this change.
And we promise that whenever we go and distribute books, storybooks, we'll include a lot of storybooks about animals, which we already do, and nature. So we love to perform theater. Like there are a lot of stories where Jasmine plays the different animals and I play different animals, and we take their voices out in front of children. So that we also did this little activity where there is a face artist in our village, and we all become different animals using face art, and like we look like clowns, but then it's something which really works. Children find it very endearing, and that's one way to pass on a beautiful message to children. So I think that's all the time we have. Probably we should end with the same chorus, and then maybe all of you can switch on your mics as well this time round
Let's
and
just
sing
create some
along.
noise, yeah.
And yeah, because it's important to keep singing this one. Yeah, and you can also add your own lyrics later to this and make your own song. We're just giving you a cue.
सब करे सुरक्षा पर्यावरण की, हम सब करे सुरक्षा पहाड़ और जंगल की, अर्थ पे अनर्थ ना करो,
Everyone,
इस
ये
समय व्यर्थ ना करो, अर्थ से अनर्थ ना करो, ये समय व्यर्थ ना करो, अर्थ से अनर्थ ना करो, ये समय व्यर्थ ना करो.
From Jasmine and I, thank you very much for letting us do this. We are Kahaani ki Dukaan. Hope to see you soon before we all die. See you.
Thank you.
What a beautiful experience, I must say. This was absolutely, for sure. I've never been through, something like this where there's story, there's music, and there's activity involved in this as well. Thank you so much, Kahani Ki Dukaan, both to you, Anup, and as well as Jasmine. Uh, what a better way to actually express anything, any kind of feeling, rather than in music and stories, right? So this was absolutely brilliant. Thank you all. Thank you to all the participants. I also would like to thank AIM and UNDP for being part of this. Hope to see you guys. There's more events. There will be a high level panel discussion where there will be experts who will be talking about climate action. I would really like you guys to stay tuned, and we'll let you guys know. Thank you, and please have an amazing evening, you guys. Thank you so much, Kahaani Ki Dukaan, and as well as Manan. Thank you so much. You gave us the loves for the day.
Hi everyone, good evening. Hi Seher, good evening. Neha, Mr. Amit Kumar, Sneha, Neharita and Marian. Welcome to the finale of Youth Collab 2021 and a big welcome and thank you to everyone who has joined us through the YouTube live. We hope you enjoyed the climate action through art performance that Kahaani, Dukaan and Manu Arora had for us. And we are here right now at the finale and we'll soon be announcing the winners for Youth Collab for this year. We exclusively focused on climate action this year, and we did that through the themes of circular economy and waste management, sustainable transportation, sustainable tourism, and sustainable food tech. We had some amazing entries, some amazing enterprises who applied for this year's Youth Collab, and they also went through a 3-month long national springboard program. We've also parallelly been conducting the National Innovation Dialogue, which was a month-long event. But before I start boring everybody with these details, let me just play a quick video which will give you a glimpse into what Youth Collab really was. So here it is. All right, super excited. Thank you, Marian. And I hope all of you got a good glimpse into what Youth Collab has to offer to young people and also ecosystem players. Now, moving on, we have a very interesting conversation between Seher Mansoor, who's the founder of Bare Necessities, and Neha Naitwade, who is from Climate Collective and is also a youth climate leader. So, off to both of you. Take it away.
Hey everyone, thanks so much for having me.
Thank you, Ankita. And hey, hi, Sahar. Good to see you there.
You too.
Yeah, just to give everyone a background, in the last 3 months, the whole UNDP team, the Climate Collective team, the AIM team, and the Kerala Startup Mission team, we've been working closely with all these 41 startups that were part of Youth Collab, and Seher was one of Seher's startup. Bare Necessities was also one of the startup on the cohort, and today's interaction, is just to talk with her about her initiative, how her journey was, and how startups can utilize programs like Youth Collab and other support that is out there in the ecosystem in their early stage of growth. Open to any questions from you as well, Sahar. But I think to kick this off, let me start with, why don't you tell us about Bare Necessities and, how the initiative started, how the idea came to you?
Yeah, for sure. Thanks, Neha. That's a great question. So honestly, for me, it was, I worked in the sustainability space. I worked in the solar energy space. And while working with a waste picker community, which was not too far outside of where I live, I kind of noticed the conditions in which the waste pickers, or the waste warriors, like I like to call them, were collecting and segregating all of our waste, right? And that just changed something inside of me. I've been an environmentalist for so long. I've studied about it. I've committed my life towards being a professional in the impact space. But I myself was creating so much waste. And that's why I, started Bare Necessities. It was to give a platform for anyone else who wants to consume more mindfully and to reduce their footprint on a daily level. So we started with making personal care and home care products, which is, the easiest way to visualize what zero waste looks like, because otherwise it can be a pretty intimidating concept. And that's how we began. We would do a lot of talks and workshops to get people to just excited about concepts of sustainability, get their hands dirty, whether that means a DIY composting or making a DIY toothpaste. So we've been in operation for about 6 years now. Of course, early days, and maybe more formally in the past 3 years.
Wow, that's great, and a very interesting start for something. And I'm sure a lot of startups out there sort of do have something at one point, something that just doesn't fit well, and they want to change that, and thus there the journey begins. More than the day one where sitting with your team brainstorming about your product. That's not your day one. Your day one is basically this one day when you just feel that, hey, this is wrong, I want to change this, and that's where the journey begins. And it's great to hear about your journey. And while I have you at that point, I really want to ask, how should a consumer, since you are specifically into this consumer space, to change the mindset of the people towards sustainability? What would you like to say to them, in their day-to-day life? How should they look at sustainability, and how can they inculcate it in their daily practices?
Yeah, definitely. Honestly, what I like to say is that more than anything, I think Bare Necessities is in the business of changing mindsets around sustainability. Of course, we're selling personal care and lifestyle products and educational content, but I think my business is really to change mindsets on sustainability, to make it the norm and not the exception. It shouldn't be that one odd store that's selling you in bulk, or that one place that you can go to get, package-free groceries. It should be everywhere. And I think it's a systemic change that we're going to be part of, right? The circular economy is here to stay, to redefine, to reimagine the world as we know it. And it is going to be through entrepreneurs who are going to kind of change the face of consumption as we know it, and conscious consumption as we know it. And I think millennials, right, like all of us, we are looking to align our consumer choices with our values. We're not just looking to buy a toothbrush, we're looking to buy a compostable bamboo toothbrush that will, that mirrors our values of ethical consumption and sustainability, and just the world that we want to live in. So I think the reception from customers has been great, and it's only growing, which is really exciting. But yeah, I think that's my 2 cents. But maybe, Neha, if I can change gears a little bit and ask you as well, what do you look at when I'm sure you see like hundreds of applications and hundreds of pitches and stuff.
Mhm.
So for the Youth Collab and other initiatives that you have, what are some key ingredients, I guess, that you look for when you pick and curate startups?
Right, right. And by you, I mean, I think you're referring to accelerator programs like Youth Collab.
Yes.
So, I mean, that's a great question, in fact, and something that will be very knowledgeable for other startups out there to know as well. It's a little tricky to answer this question because all the accelerator programs have some sort of aim or some sort of output that they are looking to achieve, and then they design those programs towards it. So Youth Collab was one of the programs with the theme towards climate change and green recovery this time. So whenever these programs, so before we get into what sort of selection criterias maybe do we look at, I would say that to all the startups out there who whenever they apply for accelerator programs like this, see if the program fits your mandate. If it's a sustainability based program, then your product should also be sustainability based, and if it's a youth based program like Youth Collab, then you should fit those eligibility criteria, those mandates. And then once you sort of clear these gating criteria, then the real screening is what we call it, begins. And a lot of accelerator programs out there have different way of doing this, but in general you'll see trends like they'll look at the stage of the startup to ensure that the program that has been designed is really useful to the startup in that particular stage. Because if we have a very diverse cohort with some startups being at a very later stage, some being at a very early stage, then the course curriculum or the capacity building curriculum cannot really address everyone in one go, because all of you startups, your needs will change a lot with every stage that you achieve, with every time you cross the valley of death in your startup growth. So that's one important thing that I'm sure all the accelerators out there look for. Then there are things like if the what sort of potential does the idea hold, the market potential. We look at the business model, if it's good enough, and then we also look at the impact that this idea is sort of creating. Especially for Youth Collab, we were very keen on ensuring that all the startups out there that we're going to pick have significant climate, environmental and social impact. So that's also one of the things that we looked at. Um, some programs are for very early stage startups, so I would say that even feasibility of the idea is something that most accelerators out there focus on, because when the startups are in very early ideation stage, it's sort of hard for themselves to understand the feasibility. So these accelerators kind of go that extra mile and look into the feasibility for them and see if it fits. um, and and of course, one very very important aspect is the team. You must have seen that in all the applications out there, we ask for the founder details, briefs on them, their LinkedIn profiles, etc. So it is very important for the startup to have a strong team, for the team to have relevant experience, for the team to have relevant roles, and the people with relevant experience to sort of have those relevant roles. And that's how the whole all the gears fall in place, and then the startup sort of kicks off well. So we also look at those things. So on a high level, roughly all sort of accelerators out there, including Youth Collab, we at a high level look at these kind of criterias.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Neha, for sharing. I think that's really useful information for all of us young startups out there to know, what
Yeah,
you're
happy
looking
to
for,
share.
how to curate those applications. So thanks so much for sharing.
Great, great. And while we had this conversation, I would really, like to ask you, your experience with this Youth Collab program, so that, the next cohort can know what sort of support they can get from this program, and how if we hope we were able to impact your journey positively, and if you could share about that.
Definitely. Yeah, definitely. I would say go with a very, very open mind, because you might be a young entrepreneur or you might be a seasoned entrepreneur, and you might be used to doing things in a certain way. But for us, what Youth Collab did was, it was just so so refreshing to go through a program and every week have a specific theme that you're going to address for your business, right? We're going to address our go-to-market strategy. Today, we're going to address our product. Today, we're going to address how we market our products. Today, we're going to address how you can think about scaling. The next day, you're going to think about, how do you grow and cultivate that team culture that you want to be part of and that you want to kind of, encourage and create as you grow as an enterprise. So it was really nice to kind of put off some of your preconceived notions and kind of just go on a fresh start. So I think, as a core team, we've never kind of been through a program together. So it was really nice to do that. It was fun. It was real. It was also really nice to have the support of all the other startups very candidly share. I tried this. This was terrible. This worked. This didn't work. And I think that kind of raw, fresh sharing between founders and within core team members is something that the startup ecosystem really needs, because I think just the journey of entrepreneurship, right, starting something, failing, and then trying to get back up again, is something that truly needs a sense of community around and makes it feel just less alone and less isolating. So I think this gave us a sense of community, and it also gave us kind of a fresh perspective through the sessions and the experts, and then the one-on-one sessions or the office hours, like we call them. It was just really useful to kind of look things from a kind of refreshed set of eyes, and look at it from that perspective. So I think whatever age or stage of a company, totally apply. It's always good to get a fresh perspective.
Yeah, I think you made a pretty great point out there, and especially I really like this one point what Sahar made about the entrepreneurship. It could be a very lonely journey, and at times you are putting out fires day after day, and you can feel that burnout. And being in a cohort of fellow entrepreneurs going through similar things, and then sharing through the lecture that, hey, we tried this, it did not work, and then we did this new thing, it worked, and you get some ideas from that. And then also just to simply share that it's all right to be going through that patch right now. And okay, all those successful startups in the cohort have also sort of been through similar things before, so maybe I'm on the right track. So that's really a good notion to have. So great point there, sir.
Okay, so maybe this is another good question for you. I mean, if I'm a young startup in the room and I'm watching this, how do I get support in the startup ecosystem in India? Like, who do I go to for funding, for space, for so many ecosystem players? How do I begin?
Right. Wow, that's another great question. So more than who, I would really like to focus on how of this, because who will differ a lot based on what kind of startup are you in, what industry you are in, and what stage you are at right now. But how is definitely a great question. And there are, in fact, especially in India, the startup ecosystem has become so strong, and there are all these different stakeholders, right, from early stage incubators to accelerator programs to these grant platforms, to these few of the philanthropic organizations who also look into innovation. And then of course there is this whole VC angels and all of those sitting out there to give that funding. So there are these great ecosystem players out there who are ready to support the startups. And I think especially climate startup ecosystem is definitely growing now with the COP summits and India's commitment towards NDCs. The whole mandate has changed. Even this recent budget had a lot of good things about supporting innovation for solving climate change. So I think there are a lot of ecosystem players out there, and we do have some government organizations and one of the partners supporting this program, Atal Innovation Mission, who have all the Atal incubation centers out there to support these startups. UNDP keeps doing a lot of accelerator programs, especially to support climate startups, women-led startups, this and that. So just be on a lookout for the right incubator, the right and then find the right accelerators, and when you're ready for it, go look out for those grant platforms. Again, there are a lot of government initiatives on towards that, so you can definitely look at that. Invest India is one, Agni platform is one good platform where you can keep where all of these opportunities are published, so you can check that regularly. And when you're good enough, when you have entered the accelerator system, then you can, and you're doing the right thing, your product is really solving something, that really solves the problem that's out there, then you don't have to worry. Once you're in the system and you express that, hey, I need funding, there are going to be a lot of accelerators out there who are going to help you through your journey out there. And especially at Climate Collective, we have this very amazing pipeline set up, right from the very early stage startups to the later stage startups who need deployment support, who need funding support. And once you are in the system, we are there to help you out. So all you have to do is just reach out, and the ecosystem players out there are really very helpful. All you have to do is struggle a little, reach out, get the right programs, and I think you'll get the support you need from the ecosystem.
Amazing. Yeah, just ask. That's a great way of putting it as well. Thanks so much for that.
Yeah, and maybe I can ask you, what sort of journey you went through, which at what points in your journey, if there were any specific ecosystem stakeholders out there that sort of really supported you in one phase, which was, which made it here.
Yeah, definitely. Honestly, I think just the journey of entrepreneurship has so many challenges, right? And I think when I started, I was a young 23-year-old, very naive, but very optimistic about the world. I went to school in California. Shark Tank was shot not very far away from my college. I had friends who were in the Bay Area raising all of this money. So I was like, yeah, I can do it too. But being a single founder, age 23, talking about circular businesses in 2015, forget it. I went through 200 odd failed pitches, and now I've probably racked up a higher number even. The startup ecosystem wasn't there in terms of the funding ecosystem. When investors are asking you repeat rates and you're saying, I'm selling a circular product that I don't want customers to buy it again. I literally want them to invest in one good high quality product for the rest of their life. It was just kind of, not sitting. So I think over the past few years, I'm really happy to say that I think everyone from all pieces of the pie or all pieces of the puzzle have really come together in this ecosystem, because I think there is more awareness. There are more sustainable businesses out there. There are, the right policies from the government encouraging entrepreneurship for single-use plastic, for, circularity, sustainability, and whatnot. So I think it's just evolved and kind of mushroomed and grown over the past 5-6 years. But I think, there are just so many challenges while trying to be an entrepreneur. But I think the most important thing is building an amazing kick-ass team who you love, deeply respect and admire, who also see the vision like you do, because only then you can build something. Because ultimately, what are organizations? They're people, and people make them. So I think investing really deeply in your first few hires and building that team culture is something that needs to, is underrated and needs to be given lots of that love and attention. And I think that's what makes also the journey of entrepreneurship way more fun, if you're getting to do it with amazing people that you love to spend the rest of your day with, because we spend 95% of our time working, and then you sleep and then that's it. So why not do it with people that you want to be surrounded by, people who inspire you, who make you think differently, and also always find people with complementary skill sets. So I'm really bad with projections and financial planning and all of that stuff. So I have amazing people on my team like Apurva, who's kick-ass at that. I'm not very good at getting the word out, so that's why I have an amazing CMO like Mehul. So so just always make sure that you are looking at it as a team, and supporting each other in all of your goals and visions of what you want to build, because of course you have these amazing, audacious, big goals of solving the biggest problems our generation has ever seen. We're living through the largest global garbage crisis of our lifetime. Climate change is here. We've seen the recent IPCC report, and we need a good support system to create those amazing businesses as well.
Yeah, great, and so inspiring to sort of see and really feel it. I'm sure a lot of entrepreneurs out there can actually relate so much to this journey. And it's a great point, that team is really something that all entrepreneurs out there should focus on. Your and especially the complementary skill set point. Oh my God, you got it bang right. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, you go.
No, go for it. Yeah.
No, I just wanted to ask, since you said teams, I'm sure you also have to uh, work with people beyond your team on a regular basis. And from what I know about Venice cities, I think you guys do a great job at working with these local artisans and building that ecosystem for them as well, and bringing them in the whole sustainability action. So can you talk about that?
Yeah, definitely. So honestly, I grew up with a single mom. I knew I wanted to create a business that created employment opportunities for women because I had always seen women just like cleaning houses, and I feel like really we need to, create those amazing employment opportunities. So the backbone of our organization, Bare Necessities, is our women-run manufacturing team. They handcraft all of your products with lots of love. All of them, this is their first job ever, right? They've never had a job before this. They are learning English on the side, they're learning computer skills, learning how to ride a bike, getting their licenses, purchasing houses. I mean, all in the span of just 4 to 5 years of working at Bare Necessities, which I'm something that I'm really, really proud of. And over the next few years, really seek to create more amazing, stable, green jobs for more women out there. That's one part of the communities that we work with and impact. The next part is, like you rightly said, Neha, is our sourcing. And when I first started, I did invest a lot of time and energy on sourcing trips, whether that was in Auroville or it was in Kerala or whatnot, to try and source the right raw materials from the right people who really are similar to us in philosophy, in mindset, in values. So just one quick example is Mason and Co. They make chocolate, which is single origin, women-based company, right? And we all love, and I'm sure all of us have enjoyed their chocolate at some point. And a byproduct of them making chocolate is cocoa butter, and it's a waste. They have nothing to do with it. So we use it as an input and use it in our lip balms, in our shampoo bars, in our conditioner bars. So we really try and also do visits and due diligence. Another vendor that we work in with in Orwell based, they're again very similar. Have 5-6 women over there working, creating things. So we did do a lot on the sourcing bit. And then every year I try and ask them, hey, what percentage of business came from Bare Necessities? So we try and also build that future plan for them, because a lot of people complain about very sporadic sourcing, not being able to work with artisanal local communities in an organized way. But you have to do that job to build them up with you. You have to show those vendors and communities a pipeline, build a dream and say, hey, I'm building this. This is how your business is going to go over the next few years. And this is how you and I and all of your employees and all of our employees are going to grow together. And only when they've completely bought into that vision, dream, they're going to work with you to make sure that you have consistent supply, that they're working towards it, or they're communicating with you when there are difficulties in sourcing, which happens, right? But keeping that channel of communication open and honest and transparent from day one is super, super important. And happy to say that we work with all of the vendors that we started with working with in 2015, and we've only added just more and more as we've evolved and added more products in our product range. So yeah, I think make sure you share the story of what your growth is and what you're looking like, so they can also envision what their growth looks like and say, oh, that means I can make 5 more employment opportunities by the time I work with Bare Necessities over the next year or whatever that might be. So I think that's really important from my perspective.
Great, and so inspiring. I think this is one thing I regularly observe across all the startups founded by women, that we look at long-term strategic goals and sort of build a support system, try to take everyone together with us while we are uplifting the society and not just thinking about the financial goals out there. And that's so inspiring to hear from you, Sahar. I'm sure all the women founders out there are really taking this as an inspiration. You're doing the right job, guys. Keep at it, and I'm sure it's you're going to do great. And that's with that note, I think the time's up. Thank you so much, Sahar. It was so great talking to you. And
Thanks
I
so
hope
much for having me. Thanks, Niva, for your very, very generous comments and suggestions about us. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. And I guess to all the other founders out there, just build, get your hands dirty, just do it. And I can't wait to see what you're all building.
Wow, great note. All right. Thank you, Sahar. And thank you, Ankita. Back to you.
Thank you so much, Seher and Neha. I'm sure this chat would have nudged India's young aspiring innovators to take an action towards their entrepreneurial journey. I would now like to invite Mr. Amit Kumar, who is the Head of Inclusive Growth at UNDP India, for the keynote address. Over to you, Amit.
Thanks a lot, Niharika. And thank you, Neha and Seher, for lovely conversations. I say this quite often, that listening to young mind like you guys is always a lot I learn listening to you. And I'm sure the people who have tuned to these conversations would have taken a lot of action point, specifically the startup who are in the journey at whatever stage they are, whether they are at ideations, prototype, go to market. So definitely on behalf of all of us, a big thank you for such a lovely conversations. I'll also take the opportunity, first of all, to really welcome Dr. Chintan Vaishnav, the Director of Atal Innovation Mission, and extend my warm greetings and welcome to you, sir. Thank you. I think you always have been, you along with the colleagues, have been all supportive of a Youth Collab initiative in India. As the video and Ankita was saying, I think Youth Collab initiative started in India in 2017. And so it's basically a fourth YCL finale that's we are having today. Youth Collab initiative is basically that's see, there are I think Neha or Seher was talking in their conversations that it was Seher that in 2015 or 16 when she started her business idea, the ecosystem was not that great. Compared to that time, if we look at today, 2022, the whole ecosystem has definitely matured a lot. And quite a bit thanks to the pioneering work being done by Atal Innovation Missions and many other initiatives that's happening in the country. So what's basically distinguishes, or let's say put YCL Youth Collab Initiative in a kind of, let's say, unique positions, if I can use that word, quote unquote, is also the whole focus on that. We are looking to bring the youth, power of youth, the ideations, the innovative nature of youth's thinking to solve the big challenges, which is also linked with the SDG achievement agenda, because we are in this decade of 2030, which is the last decade of actions. And that's why if we take a look back into the journey of Youth Collab in the last 4 years, we have focused on some of the specific things like gender equality, LGBTQ focused, mental health issues, and the current year focus, this year's focus has been, as I think Ankita was saying, that on many areas related with the climate actions and green innovations. All of us sitting in this panel room and all of listening are fully aware, and I think Neha made that point very clearly, that's climate change is one of the, I think, the biggest humanitarian crisis facing us today. Right? It's real. It's not something that we can ignore. And if we ignore, then definitely we would become the next species like dinosaur. UNDP came out with a very nice campaign around that, the Dino things. And so it's real. It's here, and we have to really navigate our ways through this crisis. We can't really do that unless and until, I think, we leverage the power of youth. And that's kind of, let's say, understatement. And when we are looking at youth power, I think India is uniquely positioned to, we talk about that, the demographic dividend or the advantage of India having one of the world's largest youth populations. And I at times really kind of, let's say, also envy compared to when I was growing up. I was in the age of what you can call as 2025, to see the youths of today. It's completely different kind of, I think, altitude in which we were operating in our generations compared to today. The ability to dream, the ability to really dare and pursue their dream is something that's really amazing. And unless and until we leverage this youth power, we won't be able to make much headway in many of the challenges, and definitely so that it apply to the climate change issue. I take this opportunity to congratulate all the applicants. Even I think I was looking at the data of this Youth Collab initiative. Close to 400 or exactly at 389 applicants received. Of course, we couldn't really select all of them, but even all those 389 who really took the time to put their ideas on a piece of paper and to apply. That's really a first great step towards chasing their dream. This year's cohort really from 389, we have filtered it down to 41 cohorts who have received all the support which was mentioned through the video and talked by Ankita, so I'm not going to repeat all of those. And out of these 41, we are also looking today to the announcement of finally the selections of the two winners who would be also participating in the international Springboard program somewhere in July in Singapore. But it's not only these two who would be finally acknowledged as the winner of this cohort, but other 41 and specifically the 10-12 who continue to get supported throughout this journey, but they can always look forward to be supported by UNDP Youth Collab Initiative, but also by Atal Innovation Missions team and the huge network of support infrastructure which has been put in place through the Atal Innovation Centers and other initiatives. The team is also, and this is something that I'm saying from our experience, what we have seen through the last 3 years, that we are still connected to the cohorts who participated in the first YCL 2017, always trying to communicate with them with the opportunities where they can really leverage whatever we could facilitate, be it on the market side, be it on the access to finance issues, because I don't need to say that entrepreneurship, yes, it's kind of a very, let's say, challenging domain in which which requires different connects, different networks, and to succeed and to really achieve the true potential. So all of you who are part of this cohort would continue to receive whatever support we could provide. So please do reach out to us. We would definitely keep a channel of communications open with all of you even after the completions of this cohort. Along with the Singapore things, definitely we are also looking to connect some of the startups with organizations like Sastra Foundation's International Cooperative Alliance, Youth for Sustainability, IIM Bangalore's this NSR CEL, Climate Launchpad, etc. And I'll take this opportunity to also thank our partner, Climate Collective Foundations. I think I can't thank enough Atal Innovation Missions team, Ankita, and all the colleagues who have been really supportive, and not to forget the colleagues from UNDP team, Sneha, Marian, who is kind of giving the background things from there, and Niharika. But the thing is that Climate Collective team is going to provide support further through its Climate Angels Network and Climate Seeders Club based on the eligibility of what they are looking for. And I think these are basically, it's also like supporting them with the startup credit worth $20,000 for different user softwares like Microsoft, Amazon, Zoho to help and grow their business. Definitely on a personal note, as I say, for me, all 389 who applied for this cohort are really a kind of winner in my mind, because they have that passion, they have the, let's say, ability to really chase their dream. As Sahar was saying, that she has more than 200, let's say, kind of what you call the failed pitch. So nothing to lose. That's if your idea couldn't get selected in this round or even from the cohort out of the 41. You are a winner. It's if you don't get selected, I don't know who are the winners. I have no clue, even though I come from the organizing team. So it's a top secret for me also. So I have literally no clue, but you are a winner. And please continue to chase the dream. We are here, whatever support we could provide to you. And that's, I think I would like to keep it short. I could go on and on for quite some time, but it's a Friday evening. I don't want all the listeners to bore you to death, and would like to take this opportunity to once again welcome Dr. Chintan Vaishnav and hand over the mic to him. Thank you so.
Thank you so much, Amit. Programs like Youth Collab are most definitely helping the youth to navigate different career paths and leverage the opportunities out there. I would now like to invite our guest of honor, Dr. Chintan Vaishnav. Dr. Chintan is the Mission Director of Atal Innovation Mission, Niti Aayog, and he'll address today's audience and launch an exciting initiative. Over to you, Dr. Chintan.
Thank you so much. And so thank you to all the friends and collaborators, UNDP. It has been a joy to work with you all. So I will also keep it short. We will get to the launch quickly. One of the principles that I have learned is that when there are young people around, I should listen more than talk. So it was great to hear the conversation that was going on over the last hour. There's a lot to learn through your experiences. I have to say that I have been an entrepreneur in my life before coming to Atal Innovation Mission, but even after coming to, in a more conventional sense of trying to put together an initiative that has a business model, and then you're trying to take a solution to the market or to some kind of an impact and so on. But even after coming to Atal Innovation Mission, I feel like I'm still an entrepreneur. In some ways, this is entrepreneurship inside the government, where you still have to be the go-getter, to assume the risk, gather resources, organize them, manage them, to take on things that have not been taken on, but need to be taken on, right? So in that sense, I feel very much like an entrepreneur. And so it was great to hear the conversation before. I think it was already mentioned that the lot has happened in the ecosystem. Certainly, we are in a better place than we used to be like a decade ago, 5 years ago, etc. In terms of incubation, acceleration, investments, and all of that. In other words, the same idea would have struggled that you may have would have struggled a lot more 5 years ago than now, right? That being said, there is still a long way to go because average investment in ideas is much lower in India than as compared to the more mature innovation ecosystems where good ideas face less friction. So we have a long way to go, and I think when it comes to climate change, life gets even harder, right, as an entrepreneur, because anytime you pick an idea where the risk and reward are further apart in time and space, your ability to gather support becomes harder, right? Because you have to convince many more people who may not see the point, who may think this is all far away and all that. And so there, I think Youth Collab, and particularly the work on climate, is doing a wonderful job of reducing the transaction cost of bringing these different actors who must come together in order for us to solve the problems that we know we are going to face. I really congratulate all the teams who participated, who had the courage, who have had the courage to take on these challenges. I heard the number 389, so congratulations to all of you. I know 8 startups, I think, are moving forward. So all the very best to you as you go through this, as you take your idea forward, right? I am actually very, in meeting a lot of young people, I am very, I feel very grateful because I see a lot of compassion in terms of wanting to solve problems that need to be solved. Oftentimes, these are also problems that may not be affecting the person right away, but they know that this is going to affect, remote, poor communities, and people want to do young people want to do something about that, and that's really a fortunate place to be. As you know, the Youth Collab, the Innovation Challenge of 2022, was an attempt to support and scale early stage enterprises who are working on diverse set of problems in the climate action domain. Alongside the National Innovation Dialogue, also worked hard to initiate a series of conversations among a larger audience in India by celebrating, amplifying, catalyzing the work done by exceptional individuals such as yourself, right, and stakeholders, to again, in hope that all of this will add up to slow down, mitigate climate change that we all want to mitigate. So this has been a collaborative effort. We are very, very focused on making sure that we work with people so that the whole is greater than the parts. And we're not stopping here. AIM and UNDP have carved a niche in the climate entrepreneurship, and they want to strengthen their work in this domain through this collaborative approach. So I am extremely excited that today we're going to launch, are you ready? Today we're going to launch Call to Collab to create a climate entrepreneurship hub, a first of its kind multi-stakeholder alliance for climate entrepreneurship in India. If you are an organization working in the domain of climate action and entrepreneurship, we invite you to collaborate, to design and co-create an enabling national platform for climate entrepreneurship. Whether you are small or big or individual, a group, whoever you are, if you care about this problem, we invite you to come participate with us, participate in this initiative. Again, it's called Call to Collab, which will be a climate entrepreneurship hub. The idea here is to create an enabling environment for climate entrepreneurship and to promote green innovations, right? So it would be an alliance of stakeholders working on who are either they're working on it or they're interested in supporting climate entrepreneurship through mentorship, capacity building, such as training, incubation, visibility, grants, investments, and other types of supports. But this is any type of a stakeholder who should be a part of this dialogue. We invite you to be a part of this dialogue. It is envisioned to be a one-stop solution for climate entrepreneurship, and we are looking to provide hand-holding support to all startups and ventures who want to work in this domain. So with that, once again, let me underscore a strong sort of faith in the idea of interaction, collaborations, integration beyond boundaries to bring people together on tough problems like climate change. So the way you can participate in this is through a form, which is a link that I think somebody will put in the chat box, but it's a link on AIM's website. AIM's website is aim.gov.in, or you can use the link in the chat box and express interest, and we will take it forward from there. So once again, great joy to collaborate, great to be with you all young people, and looking forward to learning more from you and seeing wonderfully creative solutions to tough challenges. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Chintan. Collaboration is the key to success, and I hope we are able to create a robust climate entrepreneurship ecosystem through this hub. Dear ecosystem partners, you will hear more about this in coming weeks. The stakeholders can access the details and the call to collab form through the link in the YouTube chat box, as Dr. Chintan mentioned. And now, the part that we are all waiting for is here. I'm super ecstatic to invite the one and only UNDP India Youth Climate Champion, Prajakta Kohli, also known as Mostly Sane, to announce the winners of Youth Collab India 2021-22.
Good evening, climate entrepreneurs. As youth, the one thing that binds us together is our willingness to drive change. It's very inspiring when I see all these groundbreaking and innovative ideas for climate action. Climate change threatens us all, in each country and at all levels of society. Yet, if we all do our bit and focus on the solutions, we can easily create a sustainable future for all of us. Which is why it's very heartwarming to see what everybody is doing, using creative ways of bringing about change and creating an environment full of hope and optimism. It's been a revelation learning about each of your startups, and I only hope that moving forward, all your innovations go strength to strength. You're all champions in your own right and an inspiration to everyone around you, including myself. So kudos to UNDP India and Atal Innovation Mission by Niti Aayog for providing a platform for change makers like you. Which brings us to the most exciting part of today's session, announcing the winners of the 4th edition of Youth Collab India. The top 2 candidates will be enrolled in the regional Springboard program and will represent India at the Regional Youth Collab Summit later this year. So without further ado, drum rolls please. Congratulations to the winners and all the best to all the entrepreneurs who were a part of Youth Collab 2021.
That was truly amazing, Prajakta. A hearty congratulations to all the winners. Now, can we have Sneha, project lead from UNDP, to give the closing remarks? Over to you, Sneha.
Thank you, Niharika. Good evening, everyone, and thank you for joining us. Congratulations again to the winners, Pat Care and Life Circle. I hope you enjoyed the finale and the other events of the National Innovation Dialogue. So many industry experts, ecosystem partners, influencers, and of course, youth participated. With any sort of initiative, big or small, if you want to do it right, it takes a village or two. This cycle of Youth Collab, like all other cycles of Youth Collab, would not have been possible without Atal Innovation Mission and their amazing team, led by Dr. Vaishnav with Manglesh and Ankita. Thank you so much for being the sort of partners one dreams of, and more than that, our friends. We, of course, had wonderful implementing partners this year, Climate Collective and Kerala Startup Mission. A special shout out to Neha from Climate Collective for her support, and of course, the UNDP team. Amit for trusting us with this initiative and his ready encouragement and guidance. Niharika, who so wonderfully managed everything with such grace and went over and beyond to do what was best for the project. And of course, our pillar of strength, Marion, who was a constant support all the way from France. I'm truly blessed to be a part of such a team. And finally, our amazing youth innovators. Every year, I'm astounded by your genius, and I know you will make the world a better place for all of us. We will continue to expect amazing things from you, and we are here to cheer you on. Thank you so much for allowing us to be a part of your journey. But we aren't done yet, or how Shah Rukh says, picture bhi baki hai mere dost. We will announce the winners of the Young Climate Artists in the coming weeks and share a wonderful Youth Collab India publication for you to know more about the program and meet our cohort. Finally, we look forward to your interest in co-creating a national climate entrepreneurship hub that Dr. Chintan spoke of with us. Do keep a lookout for the next Youth Collab cycle coming this July, August. Thank you so much for your support and have a great weekend.